Okay, harnessing the fear of failure. This is a chapter from How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. All right, so there are many reasons not to do anything. A lot of them are highly persuasive. Flirting is counterproductive at any level. Debate and discussion do not remove the risk of moving forward. So basically, what the author's saying is talking in circles doesn't remove the fear, and it also doesn't remove the risk of moving forward. So it doesn't do anything. It's fundamentally a well-disguised form of cowardice. You know, for that basically two components to the fear of failure, according to the author. So the first component is letting yourself and others down. And the second one is broadcasting your failure to the world. So everyone finding out that you failed. Yeah. So those are the two components of fear of failure. Public humiliation, basically, broadcasting to the world, and also your natural desire to not want to let people down. Okay? So for the first component, the remedy is realizing that you will either let yourself down if you don't act or let others down if you do. So if you do and fail. So talking about fears and consequences is just a well-disguised form of cowardice. So it doesn't go away. Like, your eventual failure will, and the risk associated with it will not go away from discussion. So don't worry about talking yourself in circles. Just start doing it. Okay? And then the second one is what was the second? The second form, broadcasting to the world. Okay. So there are people out there who will take pleasure in your failures. You will recognize them. You will recognize it in their faces and body language as you talk to them, as you interact with them. You'll see it in the people around you. This is called a Schadenfreude or Harmjoy from the German, right? So it's basically just the price of admission. Like, you have to pay this price in order to make your life better, in order to raise yourself in the world. You have to pay this price. Like, there's no way around this. All right? This is not a casual sport. This is life and death, basically. So here's some there's a list of things, a list of, I suppose it's like a list of concerns that people have and reasons why they will never get rich. So let me give you an example, right? If you're unwilling to fail, sometimes publicly and even catastrophically, you will not get rich. All right? If you care what your neighbors think, you will not get rich. If you cannot bear the thought of causing worry to your family, spouse, or lover, you will never get rich. This one is pretty personal for me. I worry about my family. I worry about my parents. So causing worry to them, it's something I must think about. Like, is it worth trying to get rich? Will I just end up being a no-name YouTuber, or will I become rich? I don't know. All right, but that's something I must grapple with. The worry that you will cause people around you. It's something that you have to just deal with. It is what it is. All right, so I have to decide myself, right? If you have artistic inclinations and fear that your pursuit of wealth will coarsen or degrade your talents, which is a justified belief, you will never get rich. If you are not prepared to work longer hours than almost anyone you know, despite the comments of colleagues and friends, you are unlikely to get rich. If you cannot convince yourself that you're good enough to be rich, you will never be rich. All right? If you cannot treat your quest to get rich as a game, you will never get rich. If you cannot face up to your fear of failure, you will never get rich. Those are some of this is not the only list in the book. There are many, there are a few others I will go through, through the course of other videos. But that's basically a very good list. It's not comprehensive, but it's a good list. If any of that applies to you, you will probably never be rich, or you will remain relatively poor. You might be comfortable. Maybe if you're very productive, you might become very, fairly comfortable, or the comfortable poor, as he talks about in the book, which is about a net worth of something like $1 million to $10 million. That's about comfortably poor, according to Felix Dennis. Which is, this man has a very different mindset about money that I do not have, so that's very interesting. I would think that $1 million is very good, but I guess it is kind of poor. When you think about what $1 million can buy, how much housing costs, all these things, you can't really get a supercar and all these things that people love to think about getting when they think about being rich. So you can't do all of that. You can't get much of a home with $1 million, except maybe in a third world country. So yeah, I guess it is comfortably poor to have about 1 to 10 million. That's comfortably poor. Yeah, fair enough, Felix Dennis. All right, so fretting is counterproductive at any level. We covered that. Don't talk yourself in circles. It doesn't do anything. It's useless. Okay? All right. What else? If you wish to be rich, you must grow mental armor to weather the envy at your eventual success, as well as the mockery from your inevitable failures. The mockery is hurtful and mindless, and it means nothing. Be prepared to shrug it off. The author says there are 3 certainties in life: death, being taxed, and initial mockery prior to bettering yourself financially, followed by envy at your eventual success. 3 certainties in life, right there. That's deep. All right, so that's pretty much the chapter. Oh yeah, let me wrap up. The author says, after a lifetime of making money and seeing better men and women fall by the wayside, I am convinced that fear of failing in the eyes of the world is the single biggest impediment to amassing wealth. On fear of failure, make no mistake, if you fail to harness fear of failure, according to the author, if you fail to harness the fear of failure, this all too human emotion, if you fail to harness it one way or another, you are doomed to remain relatively poor. You either get over it, go around it, go at it, mount it, duck under it, or cozy up to it. But you cannot surrender. You cannot surrender to it. So that's the chapter. The chapter is called Harnessing the Fear of Failure, from the book How to Get Rich by Felix Dennis. Next time I'll be covering the idea process, like getting an idea for a business. Why you don't need great ideas and you need execution. Talk to you later.